Welcome to Unpacked and Unplugged, where we give a narrative of life, love, and the world's complexities through our lens.
All right, y'all, we are back for another episode. I know you've missed us. We have missed y'all. We've been up to some things. We are getting one off to college. We had one and we transferred her back home safely to her bio mom. And so that just kind of made us think we need to really discuss co-parenting.
Bio mom.
Her bio mom.
Okay.
Her biological mom. Cause I'm bonus mom.
I gotta learn all these shorts.
So, what is your experience, babe? I know we probably can't get into it for legalities, but
That's not whispering.
You have your highs. I'm sure you've had your lows, as it pertains to co-parenting. So, what I would like for you to do is, instead of solely focusing on the negative, or solely focusing on what's been good, what type of feedback can you give to couples who are blended and have to navigate, in the process of navigating, co-parenting with an ex, or co-parenting in home with who you're currently with?
Patience.
Okay. Patience for both.
Patience. That same patience that you show in parenting the child needs to be shown in co-parenting with the co-parent.
Okay.
Patience.
What does that look like?
Well,
When you say patience, what does that look like?
patience in the mindset of getting on an equal playing field.
Okay.
Not everyone thinks the same, not everyone heals the same, not everyone experiences the same, not everyone grows the same. So because you've grown and moved past something, because you've healed and moved past something, doesn't mean that they have or have not. Just means that they've gone about it in a different manner,
Okay.
in a different time, in a different way.
Okay. So today we're going to unpack co-parenting. And you guys know I love to preface our episodes with my thoughts. So I'm going to preface it with, co-parenting can be a wonderful thing, but co-parenting can also be a daunting task that involves blood, sweat, and tears. And it may seem like a never-ending conflict. You may have restrictions on your parenting until both parties are comfortable. It is the antithesis of what parenting should be sometimes. But we also have to remember that the child has to be the center and the priority of every co-parenting relationship. In a perfect world, that would be easy. But it's not a perfect world. And yes, exes do tend to quarrel over the craziest things, but it's the reality. Everybody has to get comfortable. Some people have to be pushed out of their comfort zone. Then you insert an additional part to the equation. A new boyfriend, a new girlfriend, a new husband, a new wife. And let's be honest, sometimes that doesn't go over too well. I mean, I'll just say it. Sometimes all hell can break loose. Now, parenting agreements are being broken, common practices are being shunned, time is being withheld, and mess is continuously brewing. I wish we could say by the end of this episode that everything's going to be okay and that it will soon fizzle out. But again, that's not always the case. Ex-couples have quarreled over co-parenting issues for 18 plus years. The kids out of the house and in college and they're still quarreling. That's just what happens sometimes. So when situations like that arise, you have to figure out a way for you to transition out of the conflict and co-parent from your comfort zone. All situations that we're going to discuss today came from our listeners. We asked a few of our faves to give us some of their perspectives. What have they experienced? And so they're going to give us kind of like a what would you do? So they're going to give us a topic that is true to them, and we're going to respond to it. So before we get into that, I do want to say that for legalities, as I stated, these topics are going to be hypothetical. We're going to consider them hypothetical. So, because I don't want anybody to place their name or their situation on these letters that we've received. So, these are hypotheticals. And before we jump in, we're going to pay some bills, y'all. What if it was possible to get local fresh groceries delivered right to your front door? You can finally finish up those last few episodes of All American or The Chi with all your extra time. Well, y'all, Instacart gives you unlimited grocery delivery for one low monthly fee. That's way better than those other chains that nickel and dime you. Forget that one ingredient to make Granny's famous Thanksgiving dressing. Instacart can be delivered in as little as 1 hour. You can shop multiple stores and see deals in your area to help you save money. And every item is selected based on what you like. So no more questionable mangoes or soggy tomatoes. To start your 14-day free trial, click the link in the show notes or use the code UNPACK21 to let Instacart know that we sent you and to help support the show. Instacart. Never step foot in a busy grocery store again. All right, y'all. So let's hop right into it. So you want me to read the first letter? Or you want
Yeah, just read it.
You want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna read it exactly how it says.
Okay.
Hey, y'all. I'm happy that you two decided to do this. I know I can be long-winded, but let me just jump into this. So I have children with my ex, ages 5 and 9. We decided about 3 years ago that we were in no way on the same page when it came to a relationship, and instead of fighting all the time, we just broke up. It was all good at first until I started to realize that we have totally different co-parenting styles. I'm structured, don't get me wrong, but she disciplines my kids the way her parents disciplined her. When they talk on the phone to their mother, I always have to cheer my kids up and fix the damage done afterwards. Their mother may be upset because a TV is on in the background too loud, or even she can get upset when she sees that their eyes leave the Zoom camera. It's more of a psychological abuse in my eyes. What is this, and how can I stop someone who is always angry with our kids from doing so when I have them?
And you look at me.
Well, no,
I need to answer.
I read it. I will. I mean, I will.
Okay.
But I read it, so I want to give you the opportunity to respond. So this just sounds like they have different parenting styles outside of the home. Was it how does our anonymous get this clarified and cleared
first
and handled with the other parent?
First thing to do is meet it head on in a cordial and proper way. Extend that offer of conversation first to get a better understanding. Also, keeping in mind patience, because you may come from a place of complete respect when speaking to your co-parent, and they may not take it as such, based off of a bevy of things. Could be how they feel about your current situation, how they feel about what they have not received from it, closure in you guys' past situation, whatever it may be. When presented with said topic or said concern, it should be it you need to wait, you know, for the response. Don't expect the response to come immediately.
Okay, can I pause you?
Patience.
Can I pause?
Yes.
Can I pause you for
Go
just
ahead.
a second?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, you know, I'm the voice of reason at times, but I'm also the one who is a realist. You are dealing with
The pop off.
complete nuts. Don't choke now.
Whatever.
You are dealing sometimes with complete nuts. And so once again I'll state, kids are supposed to be at the center and are supposed to be the priority. So what I read was, whenever my kids talk to the other parent, it's an issue. Maybe this, you know, they didn't get into detail, but it seems like there are some demeaning conversations going on, some disrespectful conversations with the kids, and so this parent is left to fix all of that emotion. So yes, I may come to you respectful. I may tell you, hey, you may want to consider sitting down, talking to the kids and letting them know your expectations, asking them how they feel about certain things, because kids, you have to allow your child to voice themselves. They have to be able to communicate how they feel to you.
But at ages, what was the age? 5 and 9?
5 and 9. At 5, you can absolutely voice how you feel. And let me tell you how I know. Because our baby girl can definitely voice how she feels in that moment. We allow her to express it. You may not like something, but I'm going to hear you out. That may not change my expectation, but I'm going to hear you out. And I think that's what kids deserve. And yes, as a parent, I'm going to protect my child. And so if we can't get it together while the child is with me, then we need to come up with a different arrangement.
Right. Patience. Because you say that so cut and dry, but let's be real, like, it's not that straightforward. You know that.
Okay. So let me ask you this. So that's parents of children that live in separate homes.
Yes.
Let's flip that for parents who live in the same home. You have a parent, they may have the same issues, but they live with the kids. So it's that all day, every day. How do you address that?
I'm confused.
So this parent was on the phone talking to the 5 and the 9-year-old in a demeaning way, upset about small and minor things, possibly yelling. What if that parent, we flip the switch, and your current partner, not an ex, your current partner has those same issues with kids that live with you in the household? How do you address that? Because that's still co-parenting. We're still two parents of kids. We do
Still
it. We
patience,
just
though.
do it under the same roof.
You have to have that conversation, but you still have to come from a place of patience because. So you saying that the parent that lives in the house, this is the bonus parent?
No. Well, it could be, but no, I was not. That's not what I was saying.
You telling me that co-parents?
I wasn't talking about the bonus parent. I'm talking about the parents of the. If you live in the home and you share a child with someone, and the other person does not know how to effectively communicate with the kids, so when they do communicate,
So you're in a relationship with this person.
Exactly.
Okay, and they don't know how to effectively communicate with the kids.
With the kids, and so you hear the yelling, you hear the unrealistic expectations.
Okay.
What does that look like?
You got to talk to this person.
You should do.
You got to explain. That still comes from explaining either your expectations for how children should be handled, and or confronting them with, what do you think? Hey, this is what happened. This is what I saw. your interaction with the kids. Do you think it's okay?
So I'm asking the parent who did
You gotta
the
confront them with
behavior.
it. Yeah, you gotta, cause you gotta understand where they're coming from in order to kind of, cause let's be honest, they may think it's okay,
Okay. And
and
that's
that,
and that's what
that's
I'm getting
that's
to.
still a point of
They do think it's okay.
perception of right and wrong. Right and wrong, but perception of right and wrong, because that's just, we could take that all the way back to, what states fight over now as far as what's considered child abuse or discipline. I can whoop my kids, but now it's a place
As long
of,
as I do it out of love. I can
I I
chastise my
need to
kids.
whoop them directly on the behind. It's some
Well,
states
yeah.
that specify it has to
Yeah.
be directly on the butt. It has to be only with an open palm hand. It has to be only by the parent, the appointed over the child.
Well,
It's very, I mean, it's finite as far as the clarification
I
on it.
need to educate myself and read up on some of these laws, but I do know this. I wasn't talking about physical contact,
Right.
but if there comes a time where physical contact is required, then absolutely there needs to be a clear conversation and understanding on what is on and off limits, because you don't want kids to equate pain with love.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But you also don't want to you don't want kids to equate yelling and screaming and demeaning behavior with love.
Right.
You're going to respect me. Look at this screen. You're going to address me by this. If not, you're being disrespectful. Even if what you're asking the kid to address you by is not disrespectful, in that moment you're going through something else, but you're taking it out on the kids. So what I'm saying is, as parents who live in the same household, is that a deal breaker, or is that something that, like you said, patience? How much patience do you have when it comes to your kids?
Well, see, that's, you can't, weigh that.
That's
How
what you
much
saying,
patience? You
babe.
can't weigh how much patience. I'm just saying have patience.
Okay.
I can't say how much patience. You can. You can say have as much patience as you can, and
Okay.
that can be the end of it.
Okay.
But as much as you possibly can, because we know adults get upset with their kids and get to a boiling point, and it overflows with children just as much as in another adult. So as much as you can with any of those situations. So
Also, you have other avenues. Thank you, babe. You also have other avenues, such as your employer's EAP program, um, counseling. You have church counseling. You have close circle conversations with people who have your interest at heart, your best interest at heart for your
Right.
relationship and
Right.
your family. But it should not be swept under the rug, because those behaviors only get worse. Right?
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's co-parenting with different parenting styles outside and inside of the home. So we're gonna hop over to our next one, which it's interesting. So you want it? You
No,
want me?
I
You want
want
me
you
to
to
read
read
them?
it.
Okay, I don't
I
mind.
can't see it from here.
Okay, so we're gonna unpack parents who are control freaks. I'm dealing with a woman. Wait, this is another man. Okay.
Hey,
I'm dealing with a woman who loves to control
I
the
want to know who that
relationship.
is too. Go ahead.
I'm dealing with a woman who loves to control the relationship that I have with my kid. So it all started before we separated. I couldn't use certain phrases, listen to certain music, nor could I take them around certain family members. This wasn't why we broke up, but it made the decision to walk away a little easier. Now it is 10 times worse. She doesn't like my mother, my wife, my sisters, or my father. She sends me 3 to 4 emails a day when my kid is with me, complaining about everything. I'm a stand up guy. I'm in church. I work full time. I'm degreed. I own my home and my cars. And most of all, I provide for the financial, emotional, spiritual, and physical needs of my kid. I've spent thousands of dollars fighting for my right as a father. I've been lied on, and I had the cops called to my house because I missed a scheduled phone call because I was at work. Even after me being active as a parent, I'm still left to be harassed day in and out. At this point, I'm having thoughts about just throwing in the towel and cutting off communication. I know I will not be able to see my child, but I know that once my child gets older, they will come and look for me. My ex is making life miserable because she's miserable in her life. What's up, y'all? Am I wrong?
This one is interesting.
To say the least.
Okay, so let's start out with this. So many people, and this is, unpack and unplug, we tell the real. So many people want to hit with, I'm going to do whatever for my kid. But what if, honestly, your sanity is at risk?
Ooh.
Your safety is at risk.
Ooh.
Your job, your well-being is at risk.
Ooh.
From, your co-parenting situation and the overall mess and foolishness that they bring in your space. So many people want to say, I already know what people would want to say the answer would be. Y'all just deal with it. It'll get better. Find a way to work it out. But honestly, I was told this by old school cat a long time ago. You never stay with a person for a child. And so many people have done that. Let's just be real. We know a lot of people guilty of that probably still to this day.
Yeah.
I have family members that I know are together for their kids. We've seen those family members that married couples don't sleep in the same room, same bed. But, they together for the kids. They together for the optics. They're together for what they assume is the sanity, is the best thing for the family, which is not. The best thing for the family is not to be in a miserable household. It's not to be in an unloving household. I bet you any day of the week, if kids knew what was going on and they had the opportunity to speak their minds, they would rather be in 2 separate loving homes than one miserable household with both parents under the same roof. So I'm saying that to say that I feel like the aspect of sometimes you got to take a step back. Not necessarily saying that you won't talk to your kid anymore. You got to take a step back. You got to protect your peace and your sanity first, because you can't show that love and that fun side, that great parenting side to a child if you're being harassed and bothered the whole way through.
This is what got me. The police. You're calling the police to someone's home because they missed your scheduled phone call as if it couldn't be rescheduled. That's a control freak. That's a mental illness.
Well, yeah. And
that's a mental illness.
And the big thing is, in the day and age that we're in, calling the police.
People need help.
Calling the police to someone's home isn't a wise idea.
It's dangerous. And so now
dangerous.
you put not only that person's life at risk, you put your child's life at risk, because this particular person who wrote in is an African American. So just imagine the police pulling up to do to answer whatever call was made, and to answer whatever call was made, and the father reacts in a negative way because now you've approached my home for no reason, for no valid reason. And that, as we all know, based on current events, how that can turn out. And so you don't play like that. No matter if you're trying to get someone back, trying to get the upper hand, you don't play like that. So no, that's a difficult one. And I totally understand where he's coming from. Let me go back to the letter. He said, I'm dealing with a woman who loves to control the relationship that I have with my kid. Okay? It all started before we separated. So he is somewhat at fault as well.
No, but he made a conscious decision. That's just
Hold
like
on,
I'm saying.
hold on. I'm at the beginning though. I hadn't gotten that far yet. I couldn't use certain phrases. I couldn't talk a certain way. I couldn't listen to certain music, nor could I take them around certain family members. You've already been restricted, and this is your child. Are those family members causing harm to your child? I'm sure if you trusted your kid around them, they weren't. And I'm sure you have your kid's best interest at heart. You wouldn't allow that. So why can't I take my kid around my family members? Control. This isn't why we broke up, but it made the decision to walk away a little easier. Now it is 10 times worse. If that is what it was when y'all were together, I can only imagine. She doesn't like my mother, my wife, my sisters, or my father. Well, I can only ask, because I wasn't given a lot of context, what happened? Was there a fight? Was there a blowout? What happened? If it's something like, I don't deal with the family anymore because we're not together, okay, you don't have to like people. But you can't say kids can't be around them because you personally don't like them. And you're taking them around your family. Not fair. But if there's an issue with the well-being of the child when it came to these family members, that's valid. But based on this letter so far, I don't think it is. She sends me 3 to 4 emails a day when my kid is with me, complaining about everything. Control. I'm a stand-up guy. I'm in church. I'm working full-time. I'm degreed. I own my home, my cars, and most of all, I provide for the financial, emotional, spiritual, and physical needs of my kid. That's what a father is supposed to do. What more can you do in this situation? At this point, as I stated, this person is dealing with the loss of the relationship by dangling the kid over the father. And they do so by using those control tactics. That is toxic. I've spent thousands of dollars fighting for my right as a father. So you've been in and out of court because you've been fighting. Most fathers don't do that. I know a few. A court? What? What? Can we get a phone call? You know what I mean? So, I've been lied on, and I had the cops called to my house. Y'all already know how I feel about that. It's one of those situations. Even after me being active as a parent, I'm still left to be harassed day in and day out. And at this point, I'm having thoughts about just throwing in the towel and cutting out communication. Sir, now mind you, y'all, I'm an advocate for single mothers because I was one for a long time. I have a son finally going off to college. Did that. So I totally understand. My situation with that wasn't like this. So, I don't want you guys to think that I'm on the male side because this is clear. That woman does not know how to deal with her emotions. And it's problematic. And I'm hoping and I'm praying that those behaviors don't rub off on that sweet, sweet baby. I don't think you're doing anything wrong, sir. I think you should cut the communication off until mama gets her mind right. Because she will get her mind right. Because there's no reason for the conflict. And so that may be something you have to do. It's going to be difficult to do. But you shouldn't be subjected, as you stated. Your peace shouldn't be put on the chopping block to appease someone else. That's not fair.
I'm not gonna say you're wrong. Um, like I just don't know in what capacity. Like I said, taking a step back, not necessarily. I wouldn't cut off communication. I would just kind of not be so active in the communication. Like, put a cap on it. Um,
You give people an inch, they take a mile.
well, but still, like, okay.
Just have to be mindful of what it can lead to.
I
You
understand.
know what
Yeah,
I mean?
obviously, but I'm sure he seemed like he's dealt with
He seemed like he been fighting for
enough of
fairness for a while, and I'm
enough
frustrated for him.
enough of that. It's just
But
you
there's always
still have to leave that line of communication open. In case of
yeah.
anything.
Well,
So I
I
can't
mean,
say
if they got
cutting it
along,
off.
but if they got along with mother, sister, father, brother, then you could have an open line of communication.
Well,
But
that's
this
an
is
if.
what I'm saying is, as adults, we make conscious decisions. So you're making a decision to distance yourself from all of my family members. So even though we are in the process of trying to figure out this co-parenting thing, you have no one else that can be a third party communicator amongst the two of us. That's adulting. Like, at some point you have to be mindful of that. You got to make things fair, and that's not fair. So now you gonna make me talk to you, and in me talking to you, this is what I have to put up
Well,
with.
like I said, you unfortunately, when you have a child with someone, you have to have some sort of communication with them.
You do, until they start acting like a complete nut. And I don't agree with
Okay,
that.
and that's
But you started off you started it off by saying, if it disturbs your peace. At this point, it's disturbed peace and pockets.
I'm just saying I don't agree with complete cutting off. That's all I'm saying.
Well, of course, you want to be in the know about what's going on with your child. What I'm
Right.
saying is all of the extra.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
why I'm saying putting a cap on it. Even if it gets to a point, okay, if it's completely foolish, I don't know how deep it goes, but like, okay, it's one communication a day. If it's comes to one communication per week, if it's not something dire about something, an emergency dealing with the child, one time a week is
I think the child should be able to reach out to you if they're old enough, because I didn't get an age here.
right. You don't have no age.
I didn't get an age here, but I think that once the child is old enough to reach out to you on their own, they should be allowed to. So I don't have to go through the parent who doesn't want to get along with anybody.
Right. Well, yeah.
That cuts all of that off. And then we can discuss things that are of utmost importance regarding the child. Right? Medical stuff, needs that the child may have. It sounds like this person is providing financially for the child, so that's already in place. Like you said, there needs to be boundaries.
Boundaries. That's
There
it.
need to be boundaries placed. But I hope y'all work the situation out. I hope it dies down. Again, we can't tell you that it will, because people have went years and years and years not liking the other parent. Okay, let's hop into our last topic. This one, I titled this one "The Chess Player Parent" after I read it the first time. The chess player parent. What's up, the Britons? Can y'all discuss the Britons? Can y'all discuss this topic? I'd like to remain anonymous. We got you. We got you. We got you. My ex has nothing but time on his hands. He's taken me to court to prove he's the better parent, which is the furthest from the truth. He never agrees to reasonable terms. He paints the picture that I'm the bad guy to everyone he knows, including his family and sometimes my family. He reaches out to my family members consistently to stir up drama. He's just very unreasonable, and it makes co-parenting impossible. I just want to share custody and time. Agree on things and agree on things that are in the best interest of our son and move on with our lives. Why am I having to go through this?
That's on you. That's a female.
Well, so you can have an opinion.
Whatever.
Yeah. Well, you got to talk to your people. You have to have the conversation with your family. Okay? Because it doesn't look like co-parenting is at the forefront of this co-parenting partnership. Yeah, you got to talk to your family. Because what I heard was there's a lot of drama going on with your family and the ex. And why is that the case again?
Well,
I don't understand. See, I've never had, I can't help this person now. I've never had family members that were chummy with exes. There wasn't an open line of communication to discuss me. So I don't know. That's tough. Like I said, talk to your family, get an understanding. Talk with them with love. I learned from work, you have to lead with love. So have a conversation. Let them know how you feel about that and how that makes the relationship that you're trying to strengthen as a co-parent more difficult because they're feeding into the drama. Figure out those reasonable terms. You got to keep trying on that. I mean, I don't know how long you guys have been separated, but people have a hard time dealing with separation.
patience.
I mean, it does. Like, you were right, babe. It definitely takes patience. But I don't want you to run yourself in the ground trying to be the only one to make all of the adaptive moves. That person has to be willing to come to the table with some reasonable terms.
Well, that's not what was said. Not the family stirring up the drama. It's the ex stirring up the drama to the family. Yes, the family probably got to learn how to kind of curb a lot of that. Just okay. Listen, if you called to talk about, I really don't want to listen to y'all's problems. Y'all not together. There's no point in talking about this. What about my niece or nephew or, my nephew in this case? That's what this is about. Talk to me about my grandson.
That's what those conversations should be
That's
about.
what
You're
it,
right.
yeah. So it's like, yeah,
You're
you
right.
gotta, co-parenting obviously affects uh, quite a few people, quite a few people in your circle, including other family members. So sometimes, yes, you definitely have to have conversations with the other family members just to make them aware of.
The bone that the ex is bringing to you.
Right.
Oh, okay. Don't
So,
take it.
hey,
Don't
so,
take it.
yeah, just
Don't let them use you.
don't let them. Can't
Don't.
reverse that.
I mean,
Let them use you. Don't let them use you.
I love how you're so optimistic, babe.
Well.
You are. Because and I guess that has a lot to do with my birth sign
No.
and my personality. I'm like, look, it is what it is.
That's not.
And
really
you're like,
optimistic.
well, maybe it could be this way.
No, because hey, I flow. So, yeah. I don't think it's like that. I just think that need to be your first option. There's levels to it. You gotta take it in each level. Hey, my sister or my brother. Hey, if my ex call you, please just steer them off of the conversation about me and steer them towards the conversation about when you can get your nephew.
Mm-hmm.
When you can talk to your nephew.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
How your nephew's doing at school. How your nephew's doing in that sport that they like.
Mm-hmm.
Did they want to come over for a play date?
So let me ask you this. I'm going to take it a step further. If the conversations are not child-centered and they become frequently messy, full of drama, then what?
You got to know how to end phone calls. All right, then I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All right, then I got to go. You ain't got to be rude. I got something to do. I got to get back to work.
Okay.
get real abrupt and just the dog done just used it all over the floor.
Wow.
The baby busting out the diaper.
Wow.
I gotta go.
Well, I will say I've been fortunate enough to not experience a lot of what I've been seeing around people that I know personally. This whole ownership situation, when people feel like they own you and not just experience you, makes co-parenting almost unbearable.
You belong to me. You mine forever.
I've literally seen
Cardi B.
I've seen the messaging between two parents, exes for quite some time, over 5 years, and a mother say to the father, because you didn't adhere to my terms, I'm gonna cut off the communication with your daughter. Until you give me the money that I asked you for, I'm cutting off communication. That's problematic, y'all. You gotta consider these kids. At the end of the day, no matter how you like it, you gotta consider these kids. You do. Either stand up and take responsibility for the decision that you made to have the kid, and sometimes that does not involve you fighting for things that you may not be able to get immediately. Sometimes you just gotta put your big boy
Patience.
panties and underwear on and push through. We've had to do it, y'all. Sometimes you gotta push through. And I just hope that we as a society conduct ourselves more civilly when we're dealing with life, when we're dealing with children, impressionable children, because they see and they feel all of it. Energy is real, y'all. Energy is real, y'all. You gotta make sure these kids know that they're loved, regardless of if y'all can't get along or not. You're loved. I don't like your daddy this week, but I know you need your daddy's time. I know you need to be loved on by him. I don't like your mama. You don't say this to the kid. Let me add that. You don't say that part to the kid. I don't like your mama. This is what you're saying in your head. But I know that she loves you above all, and she gonna look out for you for the most part. And you have to leave it at that for a while until maturity sets in.
Patience.
And so sometimes that doesn't set in until your 50s and your 60s.
Patience.
From what I've seen. Because if you have 4-year-olds acting like this, what's up, y'all? We got to do better. We do. I'm sorry. I'm on a tangent. We got to do better. I mean, come on. Okay.
Talk about me going off topic. Huh?
Did I go off topic? I did. I'm talking about the kids. I'm talking about the kids.
I just want to throw that in there.
Well, y'all, we've come to the end of another episode. I hope you tune in. We have been so busy with family life here lately, work life. Things have been ever evolving in this household, and so we're trying to push out content to you as frequently as possible, but we do appreciate the patience.
Hey, we behind one. We got to do another episode.
We do. How many times have you gotten reminded to do an episode?
Listen, what you just said, life is real over here. I have to work.
I've been asked quite a few times, and yes, we are getting to it. And like I said, we do appreciate your patience. Make sure y'all click the link in the show notes or the comment section And subscribe to Instacart. Help us pay some of these bills, y'all. It's real out here.
Shameless plug.
Y'all take care. We will see y'all next time. Thank you for listening to Unpacking Unplugged with the Brittany.
Peace and love.